Welcome back, Outlaws.
I'm Carl,
And I'm Craig.
and we're back on the Norcold 1200 in the third part of our three-part retrofit of the Norcold from the ammonia gas absorption system to the 12-volt standard compressor style. So right now we're just going to complete the little bit of wiring that has to be done, put the unit in, hook it up, and fire it up for the first time. So let's get to it.
So stay tuned.
Okay, Outlaws. So this is the manual for installation. Very, very good manual. But remember, keep in mind that this system is something that we would rank on the do-it-yourself scale of about a 5 out of 10. So if you have a little bit of wiring experience and a little mechanical ability, that's about how I'd rate it, about a 5. Not too difficult, but not too easy. We want to make sure that you have a little bit of competency so that you don't make a mistake and screw it up. But anyway, this is the small compressor, and the wiring is already installed for the 12-volt negative and positive, and of course the fan for the small compressor's cooling fins. The only two wires you have to connect here is a white and a green, and these wires, they have Stay-Con connectors that you'll crimp and then put in place. I added shrink wrap to make the connection tighter and a little firmer. On the next page here, you'll see that on the large compressor, it would be the addition of the yellow and the blue wires, and they show you exactly where they go, very detailed. And then the last thing is the temperature sensor from the freezer to these two connectors, and all that this does is the wire slides in, and there's a little thing that just pushes down, and this could be reused over and over and over again. If you had a connection issue, you can detach it, reinstall it. Very, very nice connector. Just a compression type of a fitting with a snap. Very, very simple. Let's go on down here and take a look at what I'm talking about. So here, of course, is the small compressor. And so here is your white wire and your green wire connected to this portion of it. And then there's your large compressor. And here's your blue wire and your yellow wire. These other wires are already connected. And here is your sensor wires for your freezer, 1 and 2. And again, these little orange things, they're just little snap blocks. You just flip that up, put the wire in, snap it down in locks. Each one of these connectors are exactly the same. So they're really nice connectors, very, very solid connection. And that's all that's necessary. All we need to do now is put this unit into the hole and attach our positive and our negative, and we are done. So let's do it.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this floor jack. We're going to put the refrigerator on that to make it easy on our old backs. Lift it up in the hole and slide it in. You ready, Carl?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Okay, set it down. Bring it to me. Does that feel good?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to jack it up.
And that's all it takes. She's in like Flynn.
bit more on the bottom.
That's okay. Let's take a look outside. So now we have to take a look outside to see the clearances outside. So we'll get a look out there. Okay, Outlaws, so we're outside now. And this is the unit completely installed in place at the outside of the RV, the back of the refrigerator you're seeing here. Now, this cable assembly I did also order from JC Refrigeration. They sell it in multiple lengths, so you'll need to get the length that you need in order to provide yourself with a 10 gauge wire, because that's what's recommended for the current draw on this refrigeration unit. So it comes as a kit. It has the fuse already on it and all of the connectors, and that I ran over to my inverter, which is in this compartment right here, which is a direct double-aught battery cable line to my battery compartment, which is on the opposite side of the wheels. So it made it very convenient for me. Although do watch, I found that I had to run it through this area here where the heater is, and there's also plumbing and electrical and all of that. So don't just drill without looking. You got to really inspect. I was fortunate. I was able to find a way, and then it turned out to be very short. So now what we're going to do is negative and positive. These wires actually are hot. I probably would recommend that you don't do it hot, but I connected it up inside of the compartment there. I'm making sure that they're separated the whole time, and I'm cognizant of that, so I'm going to just double that up in my hand. And first we're going to use the neutral wire, or the negative, and these little connectors, as I described before, they just slide right up and in, and when you get it all the way in, you just clamp down and make sure you're tight, and you see that's nice and tight, good and tight. That's a German slogan, good and tight, and since it is Dutch air, it's appropriate. So now our positive, we'll apply that right in there, right on. Ooh, we heard that go zippity doo dah right on up there, and clamp down good and tight. And our compressors have just kicked on. Woo! We have operation. So now I like to keep things tidy, so I have a zip tie. So we're going to take that zip tie and make sure we put our wires in back behind there, and I will pull these wires all together here, and I will zip tie them. I have as well zip tied most all of the wires to a location here that could make them tight. As you can see, there's zip ties here and zip ties here, because you know we are moving down the road and we don't want to have vibration cause a wire to come loose or a connector to come loose, and so it's always best to put a zip tie on there, and so you can keep it good and tight. This shouldn't get hot, so we should be good there. And I'll trim this off before I put my cover back on. But nice, clean, neat, and that's how loud it is. They're just humming along, probably not even as loud as your compressors on your refrigerator inside your home. Again, this unit was purchased through JC Refrigeration. It's a Dutch air unit. It can be purchased on Amazon as well. You can purchase it from Amazon and have all the protections of Amazon, and they do set it up as Dutch air. So that is a wonderful thing. Also, I did put my condensating box right here. My drip rail is coming down. I trimmed it. I stuck it inside there, and I put a screw right through the top right there. There's a 1/4 inch screw right there, just as it was previously. Just putting that back into place where it was. You know, I threw in another 1/4 inch screw here. They give you the screws, which, by the way, they are not stainless. So that's one important thing. I thought they were stainless. I made a mistake. They are not. But I threw in a couple of extra just to be... it's just so that the bottom portion of this is secure. Anytime you can make something more secure in an RV, it's always better, because we're rolling down the road and we have vibration. We don't want something coming loose, short-circuiting, or anything like that. That's why as well, when you saw the back of the refrigerator, you saw how much of that metallized tape I had used. I bought an extra roll of it, and you know, if a little is good, a lot is better. So that's how I look at it, because I want to seal it to make sure we have no place where we can draw warm air in, because warm air is attracted to cold air, and then that would make the refrigerator not efficient, and this whole process would be a moot point, and I don't want that. I love boondocking, and so I need to have my refrigerator working properly all of the time so I can have a nice, fresh, cold one.
So the rule of thumb is the bigger the blob, the better the job.
Exactly. You can see that also by some of the stuff I added here when I did put my line in. I got a big blob of sealant there. And one last thing we can show you here in my inverter compartment. The wire connection to the inverter. Now I do run double converters, but so I have 4,000 watts and 220 if I need it. But regardless, here is the wiring, negative and positive, to my inverter. As you can see, here are the wires directly from the batteries, and then I just run the second one over to here. So this gauge wire obviously much greater in diameter than the gauge wire for the refrigerator. Run up to here. I will put this up higher, but you know, it's drilled through here, so it will get sanitized. Right now it's not sanitized because I had everything out, and I want to make sure that it operates and works before I do the final tying up of the wires and cleaning that all up. But just so that you can see, they do fuse it, and the type of connectors that they use, the same type as inside, a nice heavy gauge wire. They put all of the connectors on it, very simple, very easy. So I was very fortunate that it was right there and available. We're in the motorhome now, Outlaws. Finishing up. We're basically done. She's been installed. The electrical is hooked up. It is functioning and operating. I did want to show you the connection of the sensor, which is right here for the freezer. So I did zip tie it up into place because I'm not confident that I wouldn't knock that down putting things in and out of here. So I put a couple of zip ties on it, put it into place, and then just covered the little holes that didn't go back in, because I did have an ice maker, and I removed that ice maker because I never used it, so I didn't want it anymore. If you choose to keep your ice maker, you can do that. It's a little bit more entailed, but it's not that big of a deal. Then we got the refrigerator itself. When you open it, look at that beautiful light turned on automatically by motion detection. We have two temperature gauges here. One is for the freezer. It is set for 0. It's currently at 70 degrees. One is for the refrigerator at 37, and it is currently at 64.4 based on its sensor. The LED light bar is right across the bottom, and this is the motion detector. These actually are pretty cold right now already, and it's only been on for about 5 minutes. The fans here are blowing nicely, circulating the air inside the box. Before I put all my shelves back in and all the pieces, parts, I want to give this a thorough cleaning inside, because you don't do it that often because there are rails here that hold the shelves in. So I just want to make sure everything is all as good as possible.
Look at that.
Plenty of light.
Let's see. Yeah, it's dropping down. It's getting down there.
Yep, she's working well. So we'll close her up. We'll run her all night. Find out. She should be perfectly good tomorrow. We'll do a little cleanup on the outside. Put our little pieces of trim back. No big deal. It just snapped right on. I'll wipe it all down with a little Murphy's oil soap, which should be looking good as new. And then, of course, clean the motorhome. But I think that at this particular point, she's done. That's it. She's a wrap. Now it's just a little celebratory drink, and we move on to the next one. Okay, Outlaws. So I've come back a few hours later, and just to check on the temperatures of the reefer. So here we are now. Let's get a look-see on what the temperature is. So, looks like we're running at 2.6 degrees in the freezer and 37.7 in the refrigerator. All nice and cooled down. Put a stationary one in there as well. Looks like it's low. It's nice and low at the bottom of where the temperature should be. We want it nice and cool. Same thing applies here toward our freezer. Running just above 0. And this is just a couple hours later. Working fantastic. Super quiet. Really don't hear much of anything. You might hear a little bit, but not much of anything. So I'd say that's our update for now. Completion. Working fantastic. Can't wait to take it on its first trip. Have a good night. Outlaws out.
We hope you found this video useful. And you got anything else to add to that, Carl?
You know, we tried to be as inclusive as possible, give as much information as possible. Do refer to the manual. It is nice and long. It has lots of great information. It is in color. They also, on JC Refrigeration on their website, have a complete video. If you want to look at that to reference or to just get acclimated to what the job entails before you order it. By the way, if you are in the area of JC Refrigeration for a nominal fee, they will do this for you. But I'm not, so I think they're in Iowa somewhere, so we're in California, so I don't think that I can do that, unless I was on a nice trip. But we are the masters of
disaster.
Coming at you.
Cheers.
L'chaim.
Thanks for watching.